Hey guys, Jon here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Lather Talk. Today we're talking about voices our collaboration has released, what are some of our thoughts, and what's some of the feedback that we received. Also, Gerard and I talk about having too many soaps and possibly software burnout. We also chat about Boar hair shaving brushes, something I've been rediscovering as of late. And last but not least, we finish up with another listener spotlight segment, this time featuring listener Matt Fox. Being featured on the listener spotlight is actually one of the perks of being a Patreon supporter. I also want to give a warm welcome and shout out to our newest patron, Howard Peranto. Thank you so much for your support. Guys, if you have the means and would like to help financially support the show and the YouTube channel, patrons get early access to bonus content, behind-the-scenes looks, and much more. Head over to www.patreon.com/lathertalk to find out more. So that's a preview of what's coming up on today's episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Lather Talk. Today it's me and Gerard, my lovely co-host.
Hello everybody, good to be back.
It's just been a bit since we've just had a chance to chat. We took a little break for the summer, so there's a few things on the agenda that I shared with Gerard, but also we kind of like to keep things fast and loose. So you never know what we might stumble upon here.
Yeah, because we are both fast and loose.
So we're hot off the heels on the release of our unique collaboration with House of Mammoth, and I did want to get a chance to hear from Gerard, both kind of the different feedback and reactions that we've got from you guys, from listeners, from folks that have just gave it a try or were enticed by the cause, which again is Stop AAPI Hate. It's an organization that we wanted to bring light to. It's a topic we wanted to bring light to. So how did you find it once we had the software in hand, had a chance to shave with it? If you can kind of remember, I know it's we're a little removed from those first impressions, but I don't know, what are some of the thoughts that were running through your head?
So for those that don't know, when we were kind of talking about voices with Ben from House of Mammoth, we didn't have anything but like fragrance samples, and so that was what we went with as far as kind of going through different iterations of voices and everything like that. So when we got the soap, it was our first impression, of it in a shave form. And so we got the soap, the splash, and then the fragrance of the final product itself. For me, I was really happy with kind of how different they smell, each. Like for me, when I opened up the soap in particular, I got a lot of immediate ripe green mango notes off the tub, whereas you kind of got that young coconut, that pandan, more in the splash and especially in the fragrance to me. So it was nice because it complemented each other and it was different enough, just because when you put a fragrance in a different medium, you kind of coin flip on if it'll be good or not. The soap making process can muddle up a fragrance. It can just change it significantly. But sure. Yeah, I do think it was really, really nice. The final product came out really, really nice, and I'm very happy with it.
That's a great point that you made. Just how it's the same scent, and that in each medium it's a little different. And yeah, I mean, same exact experience. It was really, it's really interesting and kind of a fun exercise to see how it'd be different. And also, all credit goes to Ben from Mammoth, who he does make testers for himself to see like how much fragrance to put in to each thing and have it to be the right mix. At that point, though, Gerard and I were removed from the process, and which is totally fine because the so many iterations of the fragrance itself. But really, props to Ben for I think getting the levels just right. And yeah, I think if I were to recommend, this is a scent that straight up it's not going to be for everyone. I know it's enough of a gourmand where it'll turn people off to who people don't like food type scents. Totally cool. And some folks just, this is a combination or certain, or definitely like at least certain single notes are totally unfamiliar. And I don't know if since we're both dads, like we try to tell, I know I try to tell my kids, you try something 3 times before writing off. I mean, it could be spread out over a long period of time, whatever. But for food wise, try something 3 times. And I feel like that also holds for scents, since olfactory and taste are so connected.
Like I myself am not particularly huge on gourmand scents, right? Like, it's like I don't even know if there's any soap like this, but like I like chocolate cake, but I don't want to shave with chocolate cake, right?
Yeah.
And I could probably say if it wasn't for this being such a personal project, I don't know if it would be something I would immediately like jump on, right?
Sure, totally.
And so, but with that said, even though it very much leans like a gourmand scent, I think it is mellow enough to where it can be used, outside of it. And sure, like most casual people, if they smelled it like on your skin or on your clothes passing by, they probably like, oh, you smell like mango sticky rice, or you smell like mango and coconuts.
Yeah.
And if you're like, if that was all they smelled, no problem, like they got like 80% of it. So
very true.
So yeah, I mean, as far as utilizing it, like I've used it a lot actually. I probably had like at least 10 shaves with it, which is more than what I usually shave with, like within like since the release last month. I mean, does that say something? I think part of it was it's been so hot here in Southern California. Just to use something kind of light and fresh is really nice. Spoiler alert, I do have some Barrister and Manterade that I added into the mix to kind of give me that nice cooling sensation.
Very nice.
With that said, I don't think he offers it right now because the synthetic menthol is so expensive. So shameless plug for Ben at House of Mammoth with his new product Permafrost. If you want to add that to your splash, to your balm, to your lather, whatever, for some nice tingly winglies. If it is still hot where you're at, then go purchase them wares. But no, it's been just like really nice. It's a very easy, I think. If it's something that you enjoy, it's a very easy scent to use.
Yeah, totally. One thing, since neither of us are soap makers or razor or brush makers or anything like that, it is funny to hear feedback. And obviously folks who are fans of the show, people who are on the Discord, very kind things to say, people supportive of the cause, the organization Stop AAPI Hate. But I definitely can't go without mentioning that the one review that we saw from Anticatura, our vendor, the vendor who
you don't have to throw the person's exact name, but the review is there for anyone that wants to go read it.
Yes, I'm not, and this person's titled their opinion, and there's probably a fair amount of hyperbole. hyperbole. Yes, hyperbole. But the review was like something to the effect of worst scent in shaving.
Oh, no, I'm bringing it up right now.
You're gonna bring it up? Okay.
Yeah. The title is disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
The worst smelling soap in the shave market! Exclamation point. I cannot say anything about the quality. It is very difficult to try this one.
Pretty harsh words. I mean, well, actually, the first thing I told Gerard was, has he smelled Arco? But
Dang,
yeah, so
you know what? You're gonna you're gonna trigger all the Arco lovers out there. And
oh, it's okay. I'll win them back when I use Arco in like the classic soap series. So yeah,
the best thing I can say about Arco is that it actually lathers really well.
Yes, I have no qualms about the performance of it, and if you are fine or love the scent, more power to you, because that's like $2, $2.50. More than get the job done. But yeah, so seeing reviews like that, it's humbling, but also just to know, different
strokes for different folks. Right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Some people like chocolate, some like vanilla, some like mango coconut, and some clearly do not. So it's all good.
Yeah, so we welcome honest opinions. You don't have to pander to us, and it's at the very least, it keeps you humble and keeps a broader perspective.
Sell it on the BST. Okay, make your money back.
Yeah, I also can't forget to miss plugging. Well, hopefully this makes it in time for the drop. But there's a small restock of voices coming on to houseofmammoth.com on Thursday, September 15th at 10 a.m. Eastern. So I'm not sure if the episode is going to be ready in time for that drop, but in case you're listening to it afterwards and there's still some left, go over there if you're interested in trying it out. And we really just appreciate all the support. And I think after or at some point with the release coming up, I think Gerard can co-sign on this. If you just want to donate directly to stop AAPI hate, support the organization, and skip the whole shaving software nonsense, that's fine by us. Please show them some love, and you can just donate directly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some people that understand that a portion of the sales would be donated to stop AAPI hate. Some people are just like, you know what, I have enough soap, or I'm into chocolate ice cream and not mango coconut. And so I'm not going to buy the soap, but I still want to support the cause. So however you want to, or pass all together. You're just like, don't listen to us, shill our collaboration on you.
Yes, our wares.
Our wares that we literally have like no financial like gain at all.
No stake.
It was a creative collaboration, not a financial one. So
yes, good point.
Just to be clear, like people are like, are they getting a cut of of anything? No, just letting you know right now. At least I'm not.
I'm not either. No, that the way you put it was perfect. It was a creative collaboration. Again, no personal offense taken. Kind of like you're saying, where like if you have bills to pay, you have to feed your family. Please, by all means, do not buy another soap or aftershave, and not meet those basic needs.
I would say stop listening to this podcast because we're just going to enable you to buy more stuff.
That's true, and take that as a fair warning at this point, listeners.
We're looking out for you.
Not getting enough drama, talking smack, or hooligan hijinks from your regular forums, social media, or Reddit? Well, the Lather Talk Discord is not for you. Sorry to disappoint. But if you're looking for a cool place to hang out with fellow traditional shaving degenerates, come on down to the Lather Talk Discord. Share your shave of the days, mail calls, or talk about your favorite hardware or software and just about everything in between. Once again, that's Lather Talk Discord. Check out the link below.
I kind of want to piggyback off a little bit of that. And it's something that we've talked about. I think I told you this during the break over the summer. But when you were just saying, if you just don't need more soap. And Lord knows I don't need more soap. But on top of that, I just haven't, besides getting ready for the Voices release, I was kind of just, I think, burnt out on new software. And it's an exciting time, in the throughout the summer and right now in September and through the fall, there are a lot of fun projects coming out. A lot of scents, original scents, cologne dupes, what have you. Stuff continues come out. What was that?
Motorcycle.
Was that motorcycle? Okay.
I'm like right near the highway.
Oh, that's right.
There's like a wall, and then like a 6 and 6 lane highway, so like 12 lanes of highway.
Oh. I'm surprised we don't hear more of it, but I'm thankful for that. But going back to my point, it's like chasing that new software hasn't really excited me like it has in the past. And would you say you were already in that space for some time? Because I know you'll play catch up every now and then, but for the most part, you're not really chasing software month to month, right?
No, not at all. And I think part of it is, probably when we started the podcast, I was already I was getting so much stuff, just on a buying spree, and like so many people, you just buy it, to support, and you just end up you don't end up using it. So, very much hoarding a lot of soap, a lot of I would say most of the time I'll get a matching splash, but not always. I want to say I've just been really trying to enjoy the stuff that I've had probably most of this year, at least in the past 6 months for sure. Some stuff I'm repeating, some stuff I'm not, but just kind of going through, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not like short on anything. I probably still have like 70 or 80 sets. Some people just be like, amateur, give me that. Give me like, oh no, it's hilarious. As a side note, so last month there was a local meetup here in Southern California. It was kind of I want to say co-hosted or kind of put on by like a thrift store out in Huntington Beach, and then Douglas from PAA was over there, as well as Matt from Razor Emporium, and Ken Surfs from YouTube was over there. And so I went over there, kind of met up, people weren't expecting me, and I didn't really announce it because I'm not really that type. So, but
sure.
I want to say his name was Seth. It started with an S. Forgive me. I know you're listening. You need to come into the...
Yeah. From San Diego?
Yes. Is it Seth?
My boy Seth. It is
okay,
Seth.
So it is Seth.
You're remembering correctly.
Okay, so...
Hey, Seth.
So,
shout out.
So shout out to Seth. And Seth asked me, he's like, yo, like how many sets do you have? And I think I said like 60, 70, 80. And he's like, oh, that's it? I'm like, that's it? And then he said something like, yeah, I think I'm at like 200, 300. And I'm just like,
oh, I didn't know he had that many. I mean, I know he likes the software too, but oh, wow.
He said it was at least 200, maybe I'm not like, maybe that spotlight shouldn't have been put on him, or anything like that. But
I don't think his wife listens to the podcast.
As a follow, we're all shaving degenerates anyway.
Yes.
But
yes.
It's just, like you kind of just want to enjoy, like this. You want to figure out if you enjoy something, And also, I've been seeing a lot of people this year just like going ham on like, just taking one soap and just using it until it's you get an empty tub.
Oh, just
tub kill.
Nice.
Like everything that you have. And so I think that's probably going to be a personal goal, in going through some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I don't know. I going back to your, I guess, original, question on have you been kind of taking it easy on the software purchases? Yes. Um, it's nowhere near as bad as it was. You know, a few couple, at least last year or even a couple years before that. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a funny place too, right? Where having a YouTube channel, someone who likes to feature different products, what they're liking and stuff, it's like, well, what's going to happen, right? Like to interest if you stop using new stuff, and but part of it is also to remain or to try to be financially responsible. And just like, yeah, if you're coming, because I don't think I've hit 200 yet, but that is the number where I'd be really concerned. I might be hovering. So I stopped keeping track. I still have that spreadsheet, but I haven't updated it in ages, because whenever I feel like there's too much accumulation, I'll try to put a bunch together into a lot, and just try to make a little bit of money back, but usually just try to, more importantly, move it out of the house and onto someone else who will enjoy it. So I mean that periodically happens if you guys are on the Reddit. What's it called again?
Shea Bazaar.
The Reddit Shave Bazaar, and then the wet shaving
The
buy sell
DN
trade on.
Yeah, the DNP, or the deals in new products.
No, the Facebook group. What's
Wet
that one
shaving
called?
enablers.
Yeah, it's called Wet Shaving Enablers, but it's actually a marketplace. So, in case you ever guys are wondering, I do sell things on there and try to give everyone a good price. But yeah, I definitely need a bigger purge, and I did like try to. I find myself being more strict in my personal guidelines and what I'm keeping. And you mentioned ones which have like, oh, you want to support friends in the community, right? You want to support a certain cause. Those are I'm more than happy, right, to pick those up. But then after a while, after a few years, it's like, oh, I haven't used this in a while, and yeah, I'm not sure what to do with it. Those are still hard to let go. And even as we've kind of befriended artisans in the community too, that sometimes it can be hard too. But like if I keep like one or two soaps from a particular maker, I think that's I'm doing my doing my job and having them represented in my collection. I don't know. This is probably a fun question to throw out to the listeners too. If you guys are collectors of stuff like soap, in particular shaving soap and shaving software, what are your personal guidelines to keep your collection at a healthy size? What criteria does it have to meet? So if that interests you at all, you can drop us a line or leave a comment in the YouTube version of the show. One thing I'm keeping my eye on, Gerard, I've been reappreciating a lot of old soaps, but also Boar brushes, because I recreated my first shave, or like my first regular setup that I liked, which was CO Bigelow cream, and then I used my Omega, what's it, 049, the Pro 049, yeah.
What color?
It's a taller
Red?
one. I have the red one.
Yeah.
I have the red one. And I used to have a bunch of Samogs, and my favorite of like the 4 or 5 different Samogs I owned was the 830, which is also similar, kind of tall like the Omegas, and it had it's like a red and clear acrylic handle. So I might, maybe by next episode, I might repurchase that brush, because I kind of miss it.
For those who are not watching the video, when the moment he said Boar, I just kind of made this like bark face, just like this gagging face.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny that you had mentioned that, though. I had actually used I used a Boar with voices. I have a Pro 48 as well as a 49, the silver or the aluminum handle.
Yep.
Which was great. Worked really great. Lathered up very nicely. But I was also looking and getting a Zenith brush, over on Reddit wetshaving, they're doing. I think they closed it up already, but they're doing a um, custom brush through Zenith.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
through
Oh,
so.
dang it.
Um, I'll check if it's still there. If you can add yourself, you can add yourself. I think it was still just like the interest, general interest for it. But
Oh, okay.
it's a 31 millimeter brush, so it's gonna be a big boy of a brush.
I do own a Zenith, but
Is it the chubby scrubby?
I it is, and I don't like it because
Too
it's
low.
too scrubby.
It's too
Yeah,
low.
it's too low. It's really yeah. It's what it is, and I could have chosen a regular loft one, which I'm still open to because man, besides the Omega, right? I have a Samog 1305, not a big nut, not a big knot at all. Quite 22 millimeter maybe, but both of those bores are so broken in by me that I, in my memory, I thought they were much scrubbier, but they actually were still quite comfortable.
No,
Like, I mean, more
yeah,
scrub
they're soft.
than a Badger, but still,
I think
yeah, still soft. I don't,
once you use
yeah,
once you use a bore, and I feel like you really like break it in, those hairs start to split, and it just really blooms nicely. It becomes really super plush. Excellent for just like either swirling or painting,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
like either or. So, um,
The one I got, just to confirm, I looked it up. My order is called the Big Scrubby Zenith Pro Aluminum Handle XL Bore Shave Brush,
but yeah,
28 by 50 millimeter. Does that sound that
no.
sound
So
right to the?
it's a little bit different, but I think it's the same
Oh,
loft. It's set low.
yeah,
Um, I just I think I've just found that I prefer bore in particular to be like set a little bit higher.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I would say the same. I would say the
so
same.
uh, so yeah, I mean, maybe I should maybe do that. I should do that for like a month and try to tub kill something.
With a bore.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, guys. So next up on the show, we have another listener spotlight for you. This conversation was recorded possibly back in the spring.
Oh,
I had recorded, yeah, I recorded a few of these, and so
this
apologies.
person even remember?
Oh, I'm sure they remember. They're very. Matt Fox is the listener spotlight, and yeah, so this is probably back in, I want to say maybe May, sometime in May, recorded. I don't think
Of
none of these are really
2022,
time sensitive.
correct?
Yes, of 2022. Anyway, before Gerard badgers me more, here is the segment, Listener Spotlight. Hey, listeners, welcome back to another segment of Listener Spotlight. And with me today, I have listener Matt Fox. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
So this is a relatively new portion to Lather Talk. So we are still figuring things out. So I appreciate you being one of the early guests for for this portion. So first off, I'd like to ask, where are you calling us from today?
Yeah. So first off, I thought it'd be kind of cool to kick this off with, or not kick this off, but at least throw myself out there to join this because I needed some coolness factor with my kids and tell them I was on a podcast. But even if it is for wet shaving, but so I'm in Michigan. You can see by my Razor Company shirt. It's about a little under 2 hours away from me, but I'm in a town called Marshall, which, if anybody's familiar with the I-94 corridor that runs from Detroit to Chicago, I'm somewhere right in between the two.
Awesome. And if you care to, could you share a little bit about yourself? You can cover interests, maybe, or what line of work you're in, anything you like, just to give us a little background on who Matt Fox is.
Yeah, sure. I'm an engineer by day, obviously a dad by night, but I work as a mechanical engineer. We do a lot of stuff in the oil refining business. My specialty is more in pharmaceuticals and biopharmaceuticals, and I won't get into all the details of what it actually is, but it's in the world of mechanical seals. Google it. I'm not going to try and explain what it is because it can get a little like boring. um, in my free time, I help coach my daughter's soccer team. We like to hang out as a family and go to DJ trivia nights. We have two local breweries here in Marshall where I live. One's called Grand River. The other one's Dark Horse. Dark Horse has their beer garden open on during the summertime, and they host live music 3 days a week. So we like to try and catch that as much as we can in our busy summers. We like to go camping in the summer. We have a travel trailer, so it's more glamping than anything. And for my me time, other than wet shaving, I like to bowl on League. I've been doing that since I was a kid, so it's just kind of a fun thing that I get to do. Like a little me time.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing that about yourself. And before we get into, so the desert island shave question will be the main question we tackle during these, listener spotlight segments. But I think it's also quite interesting at times to find out how people got into wet shaving in general. Would you mind sharing your origin story of how you got into wet shaving?
Yeah, so shaving for me was always more of a chore, something that I dreaded doing. I didn't really do it often. I'd go into work all scruffy and everything, which I'm not in front of the customer much, so perfectly acceptable where I worked. I was looking for something. It's going to sound funny because we all do it, but a cheaper way to get away from the cartridges. I had no idea anything other than, okay, this funny looking thing that is supposed to shave my face, this double-edged razor. I couldn't grasp the mechanics of it. It doesn't look like it should work until you really, start Googling it or looking at YouTube. So I went down the path of trying to find that first razor, right? And you land on the DE89, the Merkur 34C. I went with the 34C. I found I really enjoy, all the different options there are for fragrances, what you can smell like every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was mostly just to get a different experience than what I had. Not that I had severe irritation or ingrown hairs or anything like that, just something different. And it was, I started wet shaving in August of 2020, so right during the pandemic, and had plenty of time on my hands because I was working from home. And it's really just how it started.
Okay, so I didn't realize that you a relatively new wet shaver. Although, yeah. 2020 is, I can't believe it, 2 years, 2 years ago.
I know.
That's kind of a very common story of how people discover wet shaving, kind of just
Sure.
sick and tired of cartridge razors. So glad to have you amongst the fold. And obviously you took that a little bit further to be a hobbyist as well. Is there anything in particular that, like, any area of shaving that kind of brought you over to the kind of that next level?
It was PAA. All the options that they had, when I found PA, and I don't even remember how it was that I stumbled across them. I didn't know who A&E was, or Bear Stern Man, or any of these other great artisans that are out there. I just saw that there were all these options. There were some vintage options. There were some original options, and I can't wait. I can't remember the first soap that I ordered, but I can just remember that it was easy to lather. And then, it was like right around Black Friday too. So a whole bunch of new stuff was coming out, and the FOMO kicked in really quick, right?
Yep.
So I ordered a few more, and I wasn't buying sets at the time either. I was just buying soaps.
Okay.
And then, because I don't even think I was using an aftershave at the time. Still relatively new. Hadn't found the YouTube videos that I watch now. but yeah, it's just something about PA really grasped me into the hobby, and then started buying sets. And now I'm one of those annoying people that can't buy a soap without a splash.
So you've come around
Yeah,
from
yeah,
soap only to set only. Okay, that's, I mean, they have such an expansive catalog, and like,
yeah,
you really, I mean, PAA is set up to be a one-stop shop, so it's not that's not a big surprise if, like, you once you discover that brand, then you're like, oh wow, like that razors, like you said, you weren't using a
yeah.
post shave even, so down the rabbit hole you went, I guess.
Yes, absolutely.
All right,
I
well,
went all in too.
yeah. I guess that's the way it goes. But I guess
Yes.
that's a good segue, because let's see if PAA made it. The question before you is, if you were stranded on a desert island, what shaving gear would you bring? And that is
Right.
that's open to interpretation, but at the very least, we'll talk about a razor, a brush, a soap, and a post shave product. If you want to get
Okay.
nitty gritty, you can choose both a splash and a bomb, because I feel like they kind of do different things.
Sure. So, as anybody I think would answer this, it's a very tough to nail it down as a hobbyist, because I do have multiple razors now. I enjoy different experiences from those razors, but I'm a daily shaver, and my quote unquote goat, if you will, did not make this list,
Oh,
because I wanted to go with comfort over,
hmm.
because I'm thinking of a daily shave. You may not have access to here we go, practical engineering mind, right? You may not have
Right.
access to everything, all your skincare and everything. So I actually went with the Carve Overlander
Okay.
for my desert island shave. So I did try the Christopher Bradley first, and I am not a fan of razors where I have to ride the cap,
Okay.
and just that extreme angle that you have to get to. I got great shaves with it. It just the experience wasn't enjoyable. So hearing the reviews of the Overlander and seeing the head geometry, it looked more intuitive. And the first time I picked it up, it
Yep.
was just it was an autopilot shave.
Yep.
So I envision that as something that would be an easygoing, enjoyable thing that might make the experience of a desert island a little bit more enjoyable. Having said that, it was really hard not to go with my Blackbird from Blackland.
Gotcha.
I like that shave that I get from that, but it's not an autopilot shaver all the time for me, as much as I tend to just kind of go wild with it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
but I know this wasn't part of the category, but I would definitely take my assets with me for
Oh
the
no,
Overlander.
so that's, you need a razor blade to actually
Yeah.
shave. So I'm glad you
So,
remembered it, even if I forgot
um,
to mention it.
and I don't like assets in my Blackbird, but all day in my Overlander. Just they're kind of 180 degrees difference in the experience between the two razors. You can't feel the blade in the Overlander. So having something that's sharp that takes down everything for me so that I don't overshave is really critical for me. So
Definitely.
I dial it down a little bit for the Blackbird.
That makes sense, given that those two razors are amongst my favorites as well. I know exactly what
Yeah.
you mean. And also, I do want to mention, for our audio only listeners, Matt has come prepared. So you might want to hop on over after this to the video version, because he understood the assignment and brought he brought his items to show us. So thank you for that. And also, I probably should have mentioned, Matt, what are you drinking tonight?
So in my glass, I have from Bell's Brewery in Kalamazoo, which is where my wife and I went to school for college at Western Michigan. Is Oberon, which is a summer wheat ale. It's something my wife and I enjoy sitting on the back deck, sitting on the front porch to end the day with. We're both professionals that have long days sometimes, and it's kind of a little bit of an unwind for us. So Bell's Oberon is on tap at the Fox House all summer long.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So I guess I'll move on to the brush next. And this is
Okay.
a relatively new addition to my den. This is a Grizzly Bay with a V15 Venturian knot. I don't recall the name of the brush, but I picked this up only a couple weeks ago. And up until this, I was using PAA synthetics and bowl lathering, and really wanted to give face lathering a try again. And this brush has probably eliminated my want to bowl lather ever again. This V15
Wow.
is super soft.
Yep.
It didn't require any break-in to release the lather for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's my go-to now. I do have this may change in a matter of a week, because I did order a trotter with a T1 recently. So, but I may go back and forth. But there's some. It's probably hard to pick up here, and the lighting doesn't do it justice. But there's some neat greenish blues up near the top here where the knot is, and just
Okay.
it was a really cool brush that caught my eye in Grizzly Bay.
Well, you know what? I have to say, if that is your first Badger brush, you hit the jackpot. I mean, that is such a great knot. Like, it's V15 is the one you got, but really the Venturian, the line that Grizzly Bay, Chisel and Hound, and
Right.
Rob's dad. I always, is it Sawdust Creations?
Bobby Moffat.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So the three of them, I know they share their pool of knots.
Okay.
So for folks, I mean, that's such a great first choice, and I'm very happy for you.
So when I first started shaving from West Coast Shaving, I bought a Badger brush from there because, I didn't really know what I didn't know about the hobby.
Yeah.
And it was fine for a while. I didn't know about bowl lathering. I thought you just go right into face lather, and I face lathered for a while. And I think the fact that I didn't buy a premium knot for me in my face, it wasn't as great of an experience. It was a little scritchy. Maybe I didn't give it enough time to break in, but I spoiled myself. This V15 or the Venturian that they're using, I'm sure the previous versions were great too. I love the brush handle. I was worried it might feel a little too small, but it's actually perfect for me.
Great. Excellent pickup. I mean, it really, you said you just picked it up like within the last few weeks?
Maybe a month ago is when it came in.
Okay. So, I mean,
yeah,
that's high praise though, for it to be a month old, and it's coming with you being stranded with you on the desert island.
And I just traveled this past weekend and I brought one of my synthetics. I won't say what it is, because I mean, it's still a great brush for me, and I'll use it if I ever go back to bowl lathering. But
sure,
I just couldn't work up the lather. It might take a little bit more time, but it just did not feel. It was not as much of a lather producer as the Badgers that I've been using. I have a Smiles for Miles brush as well that I picked up recently with the V69 knot, and that one took a little bit more to break in and get a little softer than the nice gel tips of the V15, but it's giving me just as good lathers as with the V15. So
nice.
And this is another favorite in my house. You mentioned it. It's CAD.
Oh.
So I just something about the nostalgic sense I really like. I love the staying power of CAD. I know it can smell to some maybe like a grandpa type smell, but I just, I don't know. I kind of, you can puff up your chest a little more and walk around a little prouder or taller when you're wearing something like CAD. And I think it would make, if it wasn't a stranded type of situation, something a little more enjoyable for me on a stranded island. I should say I struggled between this one and a calming scent being Barrister Man's Reserve Lavender, which also, I find very enjoyable. So very tough to nail them down. I shave with CAD just about every Saturday. I started on the PAA unofficial Facebook fan group calling it Cadder Day, just because I'm nerdy like that. So, but that's actually my second tub of CAD. Gets used
great.
often around here. I didn't bring out the splash, but I would use the aftershave splash with that as well.
Okay.
And then for a post shave, I know a lot of people don't ascribe to balms in the heat, but I really like the Mysterium serum for just for the recovery aspect of it from PAA. This is without the menthol. I've used with the menthol too. I like them both, but they just make my skin feel really, really smooth and hydrated. So,
right, and that one's not. It's not too thick of a balm like product. It's on the thinner side, would you say?
no, it is pretty thick. It is like a
Okay.
lotion, but a little bit goes a long way. So you don't need
Gotcha.
to really take more than maybe a pea size, maybe a little bit, well, maybe more like an almond size. But yeah, it doesn't stay greasy for long. It soaks in really well.
Okay.
And just the after effect is really, really nice.
Excellent. So some great choices there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a honorable mention there for that, but I do use the A&E. Is it the body butter?
They have a few different. There's a few different.
I know they make some pretty good skin products too, but yeah. So I think that would be my desert shave or deserted island shave.
Yeah. Well, those are some great choices. So thank you for sharing those. You kind of very efficiently, true to your engineering background, again, understood the assignment, brought the pieces to show as well that we kind of tackled the main question. And I would say, not that this is a test, but you passed with flying colors.
Thanks.
I also have to mention, thank you so much for your support as a listener. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today, Matt.
Yeah, it was fun to join the show, and I really appreciate this community and what it has to offer. You find other like-minded interests just outside of the wet shaving community, or outside of wet shaving interests as well. So it's always fun to find out what everybody's into outside of this, like with you and Gerard with wrestling or. Which I know we talked about a little bit. I don't watch it anymore, but I was a faithful watcher in my youth and a little bit in my college as well. But yeah, it's kind of cool to find out all those things about everybody.
Totally. And also, I can't forget to mention, is there any plugs you'd like to give? Your Instagram page, or just where people can find you, anything like that?
I mean, I don't really. You can check me out at Shaving Matt 77 on Instagram. I'm not really on it for gobs and gobs of followers. It's just I more or less created it for a profile for BBS Live and joining other Instagram types of things. But
Gotcha.
But I do post from now and then, and to keep an eye on my daughter on her Instagram, and she must think her dad's crazy posting all these shave of the day type stuff, but she likes every single one of them. So
oh, that's so sweet. So supportive.
Yeah, that's other than Instagram, I'm really only on Facebook, and you can find me in the different shaving groups just under Matt Fox. So
awesome. So yeah, if you guys come across Matt's Instagram or see him in the shaving group on Facebook, please be sure to say hello now that you know a little bit more about the man. So thank you again, Matt, and have a good night.
Yeah, thanks, John. You too.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for the listener spotlight. And that brings us to the end of the show. And like I said, we don't always know where these catch-ups will go, but we had a nice, little turn into shave software and how we kind of keep our collections. Again, I think we'll come back to that topic, Gerard. I feel like we could definitely dive deeper in there.
In our next episode, Gerard will have accumulated another 80 soaps, so he will be at finally into the 3 digits again, and we will be talking about some legitimate help for my spending habits. So
How about you? I'll just give you half my collection, and then we'll kind of like meet somewhere
no, but see,
in
like,
the middle.
see, I have to buy the dopamine kick. You can't just like give it to me.
It's not the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
We joke, but that is true. You're totally right about that. And also we talked about brushes, and I think we have something going on maybe to come back to with the boar brushes as well. So if we do some sort of boar hog challenge, stay tuned here and on our Discord, because I don't know, I think it'll be fun. No response at all.
I don't know what to tell you, everybody. I mean, we have ideas. We don't tell you that they're good ideas or bad ideas.
No.
So we leave that up to you.
Yes. We just put it out into the universe and see what happens. But thanks guys. Thanks for joining us for the silliness today, Gerard. I feel like it's been a while since we got to have this quote unquote face-to-face conversation. So it's a pleasure speaking with you, my friend.
As always, very nice to be around, and looking forward to the next one.
Very good. So again, guys, thanks for taking some time out of your day, for tuning in. Maybe we accompanied you while you were doing some dishes or folding some laundry. Whatever the case may be, we appreciate your support, your listenership, viewership. Are those words? I think those are words. I'm going to stop before I get ahead. Thank you guys so much. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.
Salud.